Hey, I just got back from lunch. Did you finish that report yet?
Well, not exactly. Still working on it. I'm not finished just yet. I got a little sidetracked, but I will get them to you first thing this afternoon.
It is first thing this afternoon.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I am working on
But
it. I'll have.
what do you mean that the report isn't finished yet?
I'm still in the process of working on it. I've just been a little distracted.
Distracted. Our meeting starts in an hour.
I can have it.
No. What were you doing? Were you listening to another hunting podcast again? I swear, I give the staff in this office the freedom to do whatever they want to do as long as they meet a deadline. That is the first bullet underneath your job description. Pays attention to detail and deadlines. And deadlines. Dude, are you even listening to me right now?
Welcome to episode 169 of the Whitetail Distraction Podcast. My name's Austin, and joining me in the garage of podcast goodness, Charles Headland. How you doing, buddy?
69. That's funny. I'm good, man. What's up?
Nothing, man. I'm just chilling.
Yeah. So,
I forgot a drink.
did you?
Yeah.
You might have to go get
I'm going to
one.
have to go grab one after we do this little intro.
Yeah. So, we really didn't have anything tonight. And, you know, we're going to.
We have a lot of stuff that we need to, a lot of people that we need to bring on, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of scheduling conflicts right now.
There's a lot going on right now.
So,
Especially for me, like baseball just started. Like, I just had baseball practice from 6 to 8. We're recording at 9. So, it's like, dude, it's a lot,
yeah.
you know.
We're going to get some guests rolling here pretty quick, but tonight is going to be a super exciting call-in episode.
Hopefully, we get some callers.
I hope so.
Even if we don't, we're going to talk about it. So basically, the whole episode's going to be based around this was a Patreon's idea. This was J-Bo. Give him full credit. You know, we were talking the other day on our Marco Polo Patreon account and just talking about how people organize their pins on their mapping software.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to think about, you know, how that would make a pretty cool podcast if we could get, you know, 2 or 3 people to call in and just kind of give how they do it based on how we do it. And we'll just break it down.
I thought it was an interesting topic, and a lot of the guys got in and shared their stories and their how they do it. And I thought it was kind of interesting because everybody kind of does it differently.
Everybody does it different. Yeah.
Everybody kind of had one of those things where everybody else was like, "Oh, I like that.
Uh-huh.
I should do that." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So this is something that, like, take it with a grain of salt if you want to. Call in if you
Yeah.
see our story right now. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a fun episode.
Yeah, we definitely should have probably taken some of the audio from the Marco Polo. But you know what? Those guys, the Patreon members, that's exclusive to them. So that's their content.
Mm-hmm. I would
You know,
agree. I would
but-
agree.
Let's get into a little bit of business. I personally just got a package in the mail
Did
about
you?
2 days ago that said Scree Gear on the front.
Oh, buddy.
I took advantage of some of the outlet items.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not, man? I picked up I guarantee we'll never see another price like this for the Venture Flex pants, right? They were just ridiculously discounted.
Crazy discounts.
So I picked up another one in brown. So now I have the green and the brown.
Brown
Because-
is nasty.
Listen, I'm going to be interchanging them quite often.
You either look
You
like
know.
a hunter or a game ward.
I'm good with either. I don't care. Either way, hopefully people stay away from me.
There you go.
So I picked up another pair of those, and I picked up a pair of the 300 gram bottoms.
Very
I went
cool.
with the bottoms, the
Yeah.
zipper up, the merino wool
I like it.
base layer. So now I have 2 of those, which I didn't really need another one, but how, again, could I pass those pricing up?
I don't remember what the price was. They were really
Dude,
cheap.
They
though.
were cheap, and I'm like, I'm going to buy both of
Mhm.
these. So I had a bunch of points on my Scree account saved up from all the money that I've been spending. And I said, well, let me buy these. And I had a huge discount plus that. I was like, dude, they're basically almost free.
It's awesome.
And I love it. Now I'm thinking, you know, the other day I went out coyote hunting the other day, and I wore, you know, the 150s and the 300 bottoms with the Kodiak pant. And it was pretty cold out. It was in the 20s. It
Call
was,
that a Kodiak 450.
yeah.
Sounds like a four-wheeler.
It does, doesn't it? It was cold as shit. My leg got just a little bit of nip to it. And I'm thinking now, if I double stack those 300s underneath there, I'm going to be toasty.
You're going up into a different class of four-wheeler. That's a
Yeah,
600,
man.
buddy.
That's a 600.
Oh, my good
Yeah.
gravy.
Technically, I can make it a 750. Yeah. because I'll have the 150s. And
You're
the
trying to sit
300s.
there and like
Dude, I'll be running.
Venezuela.
It'd be like those buggies that they run down in the South.
There you
the
go.
swamp buggy.
The swamp buggy.
That's what I'm going to call it. The swamp buggy combination.
That's awesome, man. But guys, go check out Scree Gear. Go check out the outlet. There's still stuff on there. It is remarkably cheap. If it's your first purchase, probably not on the outlet items, but use code WDP20 for 20% off your first purchase. Or, try WDP10. One of those is going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everybody likes more percentages off, right?
Yeah.
Try both.
Try
I
both.
doubt it. I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that for you guys.
Probably, but that's okay.
Yeah. Next up, VIP Archery.
Baddest broadheads in the business, man.
Listen, I know I look at it every single day sitting on my desk is my turkey arrow set up with the gobbler guillotine.
So nasty. It is like so unnecessary,
I love
but
it.
it is so awesome.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm ready to take it to that level and try to lop a turkey's head off, I think.
Are you prepared to shoot a turkey with a machete?
Basically is what you're doing. Except it's 2 machetes and the plus sign. It's like the Phillips head of turkey
machetes.
broadheads with machetes. Yeah. If you want a good picture of what this broadhead looks like. But if you do not want to go that route, you can still very much so put combat veteran through a bird. I've watched a bird get shot with a combat veteran and die immediately. So like that'll still work.
It'll work. I got to be honest. Any of their broadheads will work on a
100%.
turkey.
Commanders, any of those.
Yeah, pretty gnarly, guys. Go check them out. 100% made in America, veteran owned. I mean, what are you, a communist?
Better than that. It doesn't get much better than that. We also have Back 40 Seed Company.
Yes, sir. Distraction 10.
This is the perfect weekend for you guys if you want to do some frost seeding. This is it.
Go on there. Check out that clover. Oh, my good gravy.
Yeah, get your orders in quick. Maybe you'll have it and if you haven't already ordered, you might have it for this weekend when this cold weather turns into warm. Let that frost heat up and soak it right into the ground.
Yes, sir. I love that.
No till method.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
No
All you got to
till
do is walk
method.
behind a spreader.
That's true.
Unless you got, I guess, the Kodiak 750, and then you can just roar through the spreader on the front.
There you go. Oh, man. That's awesome.
And we have code Distraction 10.
Distraction 10.
10% off, I think, is how that works out. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And pretty soon coming up because it is going to be turkey season.
Mm-hmm.
ANF Custom Calls.
Yes, sir.
Be on the lookout for those bad boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get my batch like I do every single year.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
due.
wait.
I need to get a couple more too. I left one in the car by accident. So
Ooh.
that one, I found it the other day. I was cleaning out my car. It was like tucked right in the one spot. I don't know how I was probably riding around and just pulled it out for whatever reason. It ended up in there. The latex was stuck to the door.
That's tough.
I was like, oh, God.
Tough loss there.
Yeah.
You lost one and I found one out of the blue.
There you go.
Yeah, just cleaned up, found one, started
I like
running it.
I like it.
It's starting to sound real good.
Tremendous turkey calls.
Little break-in period, but crisp.
All right.
It's gonna be nice.
All right. All right. All right.
Turkey season's coming, boy. It is coming quick. So excited.
Do I have a gobble on here?
You have it on there somewhere. Yes, sir.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, let's get this call-in episode rolling.
Sounds good. Fired up.
And we are rolling.
All right. So as we wait for someone to call in, let's talk about a little bit what we do
Yeah.
with our mapping software. So we mostly use, I'll speak for myself. I mostly use Onyx. There was a time and place where I was using Basemap just for certain things, and then Onyx for certain things. And then I tried Spartan Forge a little bit. We had them on, and I kind of liked this app, but just not using enough. I wasn't really so I'm mostly Onyx. What about you?
I'm mostly Onyx. I mean, I've dabbled with Spartan Forge a couple times, but it just never it never really did it for me. I had all my pins on. I tried to navigate and put some of my other pins back on there. But I've kind of been stuck on Onyx forever.
That's the thing. I mean, when you have an app with that much data points from that many years, like how do you not use it over and over and over again? That's my biggest thing. I can't get away from Onyx because look at these 50 billion pins. And that's not just Pennsylvania. I mean, I have pins through West Virginia, Florida, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, Montana. I mean, I literally have pins all over the country.
They're all like on top of each other too, dude. It's like
Yeah.
I have pins over there by Philly. I have pins in West Virginia.
It's kind of like a heat
I have
map,
pins
right?
in Florida.
Our pins are like a heat map. It's hilarious.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
the areas we hunt a lot, obviously, there's 50 million pins, and they get pretty cluttered. Now, I know there was different apps that were talking about being able to transfer your pins over to their system, but
I think now, isn't there something with Spartan Forge that you can migrate your pins from Onyx to
they're
Spartan
supposed
Forge?
to be able to, yes.
Okay, yeah.
What I fear about that is, are the little logos going to be named? Because when I
don't know.
drop my pins, like, I'm not putting a description. I'm just dropping little logos.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a rub, it needs to look like a rub. If it's a boat ramp, it needs to look like a boat ramp. I even use Onyx for my freaking grass cutting routes. Like all those white pins, those are all lawns that I mow, and I had them mapped out. Like that's how in depth that I have this software.
That's hilarious.
Right. And then it's just a pain in the ass because now they're all on there, but you know, cluttering it up. But I mean, that's, you know, for me, I don't really have a good hard method of how I use my pins and the way that I sort them. I really don't. I'm very sloppy. I'll be walking through the woods. I'm just going to drop a pin down. You know,
boy.
oh God,
Look
we know
at
who
who
this is.
this is.
All right, well, let's bring Mike Fennell on because I think that's going to be him.
No, that's 100% Mikey.
Or it's Christy. It could be Christy.
You're on the Whitetail Distraction podcast. How's it going?
What's up, boys?
My man, what's up?
How's it going?
Oh man, it's going good. I was just telling how I have like the sloppiest Onyx on the planet, and there's really no rhyme or reason to what I do. So that's where we're at.
You really do have the Onyx on the planet, but you're a big pin guy and you kill a lot of deer. So
listen, the
it's
pins
working.
must help somehow, all right? So that's what we're talking
I mean,
about
every
tonight,
time we're
man.
together, we're in the critter. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I mean,
Well,
you don't shy away from
you
killing
guys
deer.
have seen,
What are you doing with your Onyx?
you guys have seen my Onyx. It's a little overwhelming, but I try to keep it organized the best I can anyway. Access. I'm a big color guy. I use colors for different things, and I try to use the different waypoints as much as I can. Whether it be scrapes. I don't rub marks very often. Mark rubs very often.
I was like, wait, rub marks?
I don't
What-
rub marks either.
Yeah, what are you saying? You go hunting with a guy named Mark and you're rubbing him? What are we doing here?
That's the secret. No, and I mean, I'm a big hang and hunt guy. You guys know that. So if I have a sit that is productive, all my hang and hunt sets are purple. I don't use anything like waypoint marker for them or anything like that. They're just purple. So they're scattered everywhere. And then I will go in and put notes in for, you know, the ones that were productive. If it wasn't a productive sit, 9 times out of 10, I don't even mark it.
Okay, so you're doing it at the end of your hunt.
Yeah, or during. I mean, you guys know I keep a pretty, you know, a decent hunt log.
Right.
If I think about it, you know, when I sit down, I'll go ahead and drop the pin. And then as the night unfolds, like if I feel it's noteworthy, I'll go in and put a note in, or after the hunt, I'll go in and copy and paste my hunt log entry into the waypoint on Onyx and kind of keep track of shit that way. But
So you're doing that for like all sign or just like stands that you hunt?
I mean, scrapes for sure, and hang and hunt set. I mean, I bounce around quite a bit, even on the same farm that we have X amount of pre-hung sets on.
Mhm.
But if I get aggressive and make a move, or feel like I need to, like we kind of talked about, like how you got to push in a little bit, or you gotta access a different way, I try to document that stuff so I can at least go back and be like, okay, that did or didn't work. If it didn't work, I try to get rid of it. I try to minimize that clutter. Like if it's something that wasn't productive or didn't work, or I don't see myself going back to, I try to get rid of it. The one that I mark the most, access, obviously, I use the tracker tool a ton. If I'm going into a new spot, okay, that access wasn't worth using again, we're going to delete that. That one was, then all my access trails and like parking spots are yellow. So I try to color coordinate that. Like, I mean, I'm not even looking at my app and I can tell you what color everything is.
So do you save all of
cameras
your
are-
tracks? Like you said, you use your tracker a lot. I mean, does your Onyx look like spaghetti and meatballs, or like what we got going on?
No. The only ones that I really ever like keep are the access in and out. I don't keep the recovery tracks unless I stumble across something that says, hey, we need to come back in here and look around.
Nice.
Okay.
Then I'll leave that one. But
Okay. So
no,
are you color
not really.
coordinating your
Not really.
tracks with that access too? So are your track colors yellow as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all my tracks and access points, whether it be parking spots or, I mean, if it's just a pin, like there was one that I didn't have there's a ton of yellow pins that, okay, I could access from here that there is no trail to yet or from yet that I haven't got to. So like if I'm driving a piece of public and I'm like, okay, I can get in here. I'm also weird. I try to go in where other people don't. So that's why there's so many random yellow pins. Like, okay, I could get into this piece from here, but that may not be the public parking lot per se.
Yeah. Are you using parking and access differently? So I know for me, like I'll use parking for parking spots, but I'll use the access pins like as far as the road will go back to where you have to stop. Like, especially at my camp, this is a big thing because there's all those dirt and gravel roads all over the place. I'll put my parking spots in the main parking areas, but I'll use my access pins at the end of those roads because some of them roads on Onyx might show them going for another 2 miles, but you can't go that far. Is that something you use it for?
Yeah,
as well?
you're right. I don't do that as often as probably what you guys do, but I don't hunt, especially you, Chuck. I don't hunt big woods like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because
So
for
a lot
me,
of the public that I'm hunting,
yeah.
I can, right off the road, but it's not necessarily, like it's accessible from the road, but it's not necessarily where everybody else is parking or everybody else is going in.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys obviously hunt public in PA. Like sometimes you got to think outside of the box and attack an area from the opposite direction to really be successful.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm out driving around and I see pressure and I know whether it's a piece I hunt or not, if I come across somewhere that I can get into the piece that isn't the given, I'll drop a pin there.
I know the piece that you and I hunt together, the piece of public, I've driven that after work, in the archery season. And I've just driven all around that spot on all the roads. And I'll drop little car pins where I see cars. Like I'll just drive and drop car pins. And that's basically letting me know to just write that off. In all honesty, I kind of write it off.
Yeah.
Now obviously where we park in that parking spot, there's like always 12 cars there, but it's helpful.
Key.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. Another big thing too with like the access, the reason I use that in the big woods specifically is a lot of times I'll get dropped off or I'll just jump out of the woods and I'll just go. Like I'll just walk and walk and walk. And next thing you know, I'm closer to a different access and I'll call someone, hey, come pick me up at, this road. And I'll know that there's an access point there.
This is one, I don't know that if you guys utilize it or not, but do you guys drive around with Onyx maps on your truck screen?
I wish I could do that. I don't have a truck screen.
I did, but I got rid of my truck.
I mean, dude, any of the newer vehicles that have like the Apple CarPlay or Android Play or whatever it's called.
My car, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
How I haven't got into more accidents, I don't know, but dude, especially like turkeys, Chuck. I mean, obviously turkey season coming up, but turkey season is bad for me. Like I will drive around on these back roads and I'll have Onyx up on my truck. See a bird, drop a pin, drive down the road. See a bird, drop a pin, drive down the road. Like it's kind of.
You should see
it's a useful tool, but
you should see my commute to work and back. There's literally, you can tell which road I drive.
I don't have to see it. I watch it every morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is true, actually. I want to take it back just a second. I thought this was kind of a fun tip. I was just looking around on here just to make sure I was right and I didn't misspeak. It's funny that you guys use access for how you're getting into places. The access tool that I use, and you can see here, Chuck, there's a blue one and there's a red one.
Yeah, a little way.
I use those for places that I asked permission.
Oh.
Like I'm trying to get access. Red ones are ones that I've gotten no's on. Yellows are maybes, and I need to go back and like check again, ask again. Greens are typically ones that I have permission on that I can go into like readily. And those blue ones are ones that I've asked permission, got a yes, and never.
That's interesting.
Never hunted on.
See, the reason I've always used the access pin, the A pin, is because they never used to have a parking pin. They recently added a parking pin. So you had to use the A for access.
Yeah. I just use it as like, I have access here.
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
I would have never thought that.
I thought that was kind of a fun little quip to put in there.
I do something very similar, Austin. I just don't use the access pin. I do use colors for that, though.
Yeah, believe me, there's a lot of red access pins on mine.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't use red because red's the default.
Red's a no-go.
I would use black on a lot of my no-goes.
Yeah.
Because it's just like black it out.
Yep.
I don't want
Mine's like
there.
a stoplight. Like green means go, yellow is maybe, red is stop. You don't have access there anymore.
Which one is sneak on from the backside? Purple?
Purple. It's funny.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I mean, really, when I break it down, most of it is by color. Just because I know, like, okay, this color's this is this, this is this. I do wish there was a way to like save a certain pin, like a certain icon with a certain color. I wish that is something they would like, unless I just haven't stumbled across how to do it yet. But that would be nice because every time you drop a pin, it pops up as the red X, which I get. Other than that, I mean, yeah, that happens. That does happen a lot.
Yeah, I was just looking at, this is a little piece right there by my work that I was hunting. And what I did here is I just used X's on a couple of them. And again, same as kind of what Austin was doing. I put color coordination, but I put notes in there. So I knew when I went back.
Your yellow's a maybe too.
Yeah. Like I talked to Joanne. Like that's, this one's like wife needs to ask husband. This one, I put even better notes. Like I had permission on it and then no shooting on property.
Send me that pin.
No, absolutely not. But I even put notes in there, like what their dog's name was and stuff like that. So if I went back to that property, the next year and I wanted to ask them again, make sure it was okay, but hey, and how's Fluffy doing? Like
Fluffy died last week.
Oh, come on.
No permission.
Come on, man.
Dude, I will say this. I don't, obviously we hunt a lot of permission farms up here. That's primarily what we hunt. There's a lot of them that we won't hunt for a few years and then we'll come back and be like, hey, but that first name basis is huge. Having neighboring properties is huge. Keeping track of all that stuff and having all that stuff at your fingertips. I mean, you may have 8, 10, 12 permission pieces. It's nice to know names, especially if you're hunting the same area, because that's a big icebreaker. Like, hey, I have permission to hunt X name down the street.
Yep.
Sometimes that's really, really big.
Yeah, they like that because it's like the familiarity with their neighbors, but also it could go either way. It could backfire if they hate them, but typically 9 times out of 10, they're more like, oh, well, they feel more comfortable if they let you hunt. Right. Maybe I will too, as long as they have a scenario where they would let people hunt on it.
Hey, and if you get a no, I'm not the only one that's heard this or used this, but like a lot of times when you get a no, it's, I have family that hunts or we have so many people on it this year. Just ask for permission to come back.
Yep.
And, next year.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. And that note tool in there, I use a ton, probably use it more than most guys. I mean, Chuck, sounds like you use it, but it's right there. You're already doing all of this stuff, whether it be changing the pin, changing the icon, changing the color. Throw a little, like you said, throw a little note in there to remind you, like, when, hey, okay, this they had too many people on it last year, or I mean, whatever it may be.
Yeah, you never know.
It is a useful tool if you make it a useful tool. I mean, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, and
that's a really good point because I know that I don't use the note like I should, and that's actually something that I should do. Places that I do have permission, I know them, like I know who they are. But like I don't put their name in there and stuff like that, and I'm terrible with names. So that's something that I definitely should do.
Well, especially if their name's not the one on the property,
right?
Because
like
Onyx
it says
gives
Scott,
you the name.
Scott, Steve, or something like that, and like you go up and like Steve's not there anymore, and it's like Linda.
Yeah,
lady comes to the door. What's up, Steve?
It is tough because I mean Onyx renews every like tax year.
Right.
Yeah, it updates the names every So it is helpful. It is definitely helpful.
Yeah.
The note.
I would say also a big thing on that, like you said, asking. That's the first thing. When I get a no and they give me a reason, the first thing I always say is like, hey, would you mind if I come back again, next year and just ask and see in case anything has changed? Just let me ask and see if the scenario has changed. I have never once had anybody tell me, no, don't ever come back. Like, it almost throws them off.
Exactly.
You put them in that spot where they're not expecting that question and they can't say no to you. Unless they're a total D-bag and they just don't want you anywhere near their property, you're going to know that right away. But the people that are him-hawing around and they're like, well, we have 2 hunters here already, and, Jimmy down the street hunts sometimes. Like, Jimmy down the street might move next year, and you show up, and guess what? Nobody's hunting it. And you're the guy that they remember your face. Hey, I was here last year. It could work out.
It absolutely could. And like I said, if you don't have that information, or a lot of guys, I remember this, but you may not, especially like Chuck. I mean, I feel like are a lot alike in most instances. Like, we're dropping pins all the time. I mean,
it's insane.
I know you do, and I try to stay up on it, but like, there's a lot of them that I have no idea what are.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I do.
If you take 2 seconds, take 2 seconds when you drop it, or like I said, I hang and hunt a lot, so all my hanging hunt sets are purple. They stay if it was successful, if I saw something that I feel like I need to go back to, whatever it may be, just because it's there. Like, well, what did I see? Why do I want to go back there? Take 2 seconds, throw a note in there.
And here's something too I want to add to that, because this is what happened to me years ago, and it totally screwed me up. This is why I have pins that I don't know what they are. About 3 years ago.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I was in, and this is my fault. I was trying to cheat the system. I was doing a 7-day free trial. Not really, because you're allowed to do 7-day free trials. That's why they're there. I was doing one, and I was hunting turkey in West Virginia. And at the same time, my Onyx automatically renewed my subscription to my other account. But since I was on there on a free trial through a different email, when it renewed, it basically renewed for that one and not my original one. And I lost all of my pins. We're talking 3 years of pins, and I went ballistic, but they got them back for me. However, when they came back, they were all red X pins. There was no A's for access. There was no scrapes, rubs. There was no tree stands. So I have a ton of pins all over Pennsylvania that are just red X's. Now, here's the thing. Half of those I put notes on. The notes showed up. So if it was big rub in buck corridor, like, I did that for some of them. I know what that is. I can go back there, and at least I have that information. I can change the pin back to a rub. So maybe not half. I'd say 90% I lost. 10% I saved.
And another thing that I mean, especially the last couple of years, chasing those couple big bucks that we've talked about on here before, you can add pictures to these waypoints now. Mm-hmm. So like my trail camera pins, I can go through and upload them right to the app. Like, okay, this picture was at this trail camera. I can go, now all that information's there. The date, the time, obviously the deer. All that's right there at my fingertips again, all in that same waypoint.
I like that part of it. I think I lost one whenever I lost my pins, because that was one of these. What was cool about that is I dropped a blind pin one time, because it looked like, out one of the swamps that we hunt, it looks like there's a tree out there, and I always wanted to know what that tree looked like. It has, just trails going all around it. So when I finally walked in there and I got to it, I took a picture of that tree and attach it to that pin from a distance. Like, I didn't have to go all the way in there. I could look out into the swamp, see that tree, go, okay, that's a really ugly, nasty, dead tree. I'm never going to climb it. But I took a picture and attached it to a pin. So it is nice to have something like that. Even what I wonder, though, is if you delete that picture from your phone, I wonder if that deletes it out of your pin.
I don't know. I bet it's saved to cloud or something somewhere.
I don't know that it would.
I might have to test that.
I don't know that it would, but I mean, it would be easy to test. I mean, just attach a random picture to a random pin and
delete it, see if it works.
Like right now, drop a pin right now.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Take a picture of you in Austin and save it to that pin. And then delete the picture from your phone and go back in and see if it's there.
I have the perfect picture for
you.
I
mean, sure. This is the perfect picture for the episode.
All right, we're going to try it right now. Okay. All right, so we're gonna drop a pin in an undisclosed
location.
Pretty nice looking stuff here. Let's just drop a pin.
It's right in the middle of St. Louis.
Where is the ad? And can they stop moving the add waypoint freaking thing around? We're gonna be a point of interest because we are interested.
Ooh.
I'm gonna make it blue, and I'm gonna add a photo from library. Okay, and save. But now I have to delete that picture. That's all right.
It's a great picture.
It is a great picture. We'll have it in.
Send it to
Don't
me
worry about
first.
it. Nah.
Okay, you'll still have it. Yeah.
Let me delete it, and then we're gonna go back.
It's
Close
gone.
out. Picture's gone. Pin.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, good googly moogly. It's there.
It's still there. So there you go.
I hope you go out to that pin sometime.
Me too.
The picture is still associated with the pin
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
after it was.
Yep.
See, like that is useful in my opinion. Like I think, especially if you were like in my shoes over the past couple of years, you got multiple cameras that you're getting the same deer on at different times of the day. You can really put together a network of where this deer is coming and going from at what time of the day, and where you need to be. But to have that all at your fingertip right there,
Pretty wild.
it's pretty useful.
No, I would totally agree, man.
Again, it's one of those things like you're gonna get out of it what you put into it.
In a year, I'm gonna
How
look back at that
organized
pin,
you are.
and I'm gonna look, what the hell is that pin doing in the middle of nowhere? And I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna see our faces on there.
That's gonna be epic.
But yeah, I mean, Chuck, I think you and I are a lot alike. Austin, I haven't really seen your, like, not that I'm like looking for your pins or anything, but like we've obviously been together and went over different things on our maps. We're a lot alike in a lot of ways. Color coordination,
I've gotten better. I would say
If
that,
you looked at my Onyx, it looks like a nightmare, but
Yeah.
it makes sense to me.
yeah, true. I mean, mine's
And
not
that's-
organized.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I would say for 3 years, I was very sloppy and I just dropped pins on everything because like I could. But I will say, like, recently, one of the things that I started doing to kind of better organize myself is I would pick a color code each year, and I would use that color code for all of my pins that year. And I'd be more selective on what pins I chose to use. So more or less, if I saw a big buck, I would put a pin with that color code on it. If I saw an area I absolutely had to hunt or fresh feed sign, I would drop a pin with that color code on it. And what that's helped me to do is sort through that clutter. When you see a sea of red pins and then blue's my year, my color for the year, I'm sitting at home a lot of times and I'm like, dude, where the hell am I going to hunt? I can't figure this out. And I start to look on Onyx and boom, looking at the blue pins. Oh, that's right. I did see a buck here a month ago or, 2 weeks ago. And I saw, fresh feeding when I was walking in here. So that kind of has helped me. But other than that, I'm not super.
I could see problems happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like running out of colors.
Like that, and also like if you wanted to have a color for like I was talking about, like if you wanted to do red for it's a no-go, green for it, it's a go for access, or whatever your color coordination is. If you get on a year and you have that color now, it just blends in. You don't.
Yeah.
I know where you're
extent.
going with
Yeah.
that, but also like, do you remember what year those are? You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
just know what my current one is. That's all that matters to me.
I suppose.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've even gone back and changed some of them other ones back to red after I used them, just because I no longer needed them to be the recent number or recent.
Lost you guys. Oh no.
Oh, we did lose Mike. Oh, it's still saying he's talking or he's on.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I have to call back.
I'm gonna drop it. Zero sound
Yep.
on your guys' end.
Drop the call.
Yeah, I'm dropping
Have
it.
him call back.
Yeah.
My phone's on Do Not Disturb. It texts me. I was wondering. I'm like, where the heck did he go?
Yeah. I saw that pop up.
Yeah.
For a second. There he is. No, is that him? No.
No.
Yeah, there he
That's
is.
him right there.
Beautiful. Hello. We're back.
All good.
There you go. All right. We lost Mike momentarily, but we got him back. And yeah, we're here. This thing is it's not flawless. It's pretty damn good, but hey, stuff happens.
It does.
So anyways,
Technology, man.
Yeah.
Out of your control there.
So other than what we've talked about so far, what would you say is like one of your hot tips for somebody that's just getting started fresh? And then we'll talk about someone that's, years in and has a bunch of just mess going on. So if someone's just starting, what is like the best tip you can give them to keep their Onyx or their base map or hunt stand, whatever they use, super clean?
I think the basics would be just like what we've talked about. Change, get away from the X's. I mean, you can use the X's, but use it for something you want to associate it with. Like for instance, like Austin, he uses a yes, no, maybe. Well, maybe make the X's your nose, just as an example. But use those different icons to your advantage. Make it easy on yourself. Or, like we've talked about, color code things, whether it be like Chuck does and goes by year, or like for me, each color has its own icon associated to it.
Gotcha.
So
okay. Now, what if someone has a super
the notes, man?
Yeah. Okay. And notes. Yep. Perfect. Definitely use the notes. I'm a big proponent for notes. It's so easy to do, especially when like it annoys me that it comes up with default and it's like this super long, like weird, like blah, blah, blah with the date, which I kind of like because it tells you when you put the pins down without dialing into them. But you can just scroll down and use the notes at the bottom, or you can just put a heading in. That way, when you click on it, bam, it's right there.
Oh, you're talking about the name for the waypoint.
The name for the waypoint.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like waypoint.
I changed those too.
2/29, 2024, 1302. Like, you know what I mean? So
I changed those too.
You changed the names
anyway,
too?
whether it be a property name. Yeah. Okay. Whether it be a property name or like Dad and I have certain names for certain stands. So I'll punch it in like this is the hot corner or whatever.
Yeah. What's nice about that too is when you're sharing those pins with other people, it comes across with whatever name that you put on there.
Does it?
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
I've clicked into pins and I'm like, that's definitely not mine. And you can scroll down and you'll see the person's name that shared it with you, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. That was shared with me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure those names come across when they share. I think everything does, as long as it's view only, like notes and all. I'm not sure, but that would be nice. So what about somebody like, say me? I'm been using Onyx for 3 years, and I have pins everywhere. I've been pinning everything, every rub, scrape, acorn, every oak tree. What are you going to tell me to try to fix that?
I mean, keep it simple, stupid. I mean,
yeah, but the damage is done, right? How can I work from here forward?
Every area that you're obviously going back into these areas over and over and over again at some point. Scrub them when you're in there.
Yeah.
Whether it, you might have marked a rub 3 years ago. Yeah, that's cool, like to know. But if it's not a historical rub, get rid of that pin. Scrapes, in my opinion, are a little different. I like to know where those are.
Same.
You will see a pattern over time that they're going to be in the same areas from what I have seen.
Okay.
So that's one that I do mark scrape. I mark almost every one that I come across.
Even
some
the
of
trail
them
scrapes,
I don't.
like the ones that are almost guaranteed to be nighttime.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, if they are part of a line.
Okay.
You see it with rubs a lot, but if you pay attention, a lot of times scrapes are the same way. Like there's probably like the big buck I shot back in 2020. I shot that buck off of the biggest scrape on a scrape line that went along the whole ridge, 250 yards long.
Okay. So I'm guessing
that was at 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So your big thing is then, if I'm up in my tree stand, I'm in that area, right? I have a very messy Onyx from 3 years of data in there. Instead of going on and, playing on my phone and scrolling Facebook or Instagram, I should probably be on Onyx looking at these pins, scrubbing them, deleting ones that I know I don't need any longer because they're old rubs. They're not there again. I've already been through that area. I know there's not a rub there. Coming into the year, we're scouting, we're color coordinating, color coding different emblems or icons, however you want to call them. And then as I'm in my tree and I'm waiting for 3 hours before a deer moves, I can be in there just deleting stuff and making it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you utilize that note function, like for me, say, again, I'm a big scrape guy. I can go in there. I haven't done this, but I could. I mean, just implementing the things we've talked about over the past half hour. Hey, in 2020, this was a scrape. 2021, this was a scrape. 2022, this isn't open. You can leave those pins and still organize yourself with the other tools right there at your fingertips.
I'm still waiting for one of those scrape pins to pay off for me. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like, okay, it's going to rain. I'm going to hunt tomorrow after the rain. Let me get on Onyx, look at where my scrapes are from last year. and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, this scrape's going to be fire. I'm going to hunt it right after the rain. That is yet to work for me. How about you guys?
I've never killed one off of a scrape, but I've seen so many people do it. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things. Like I've hunted scrapes and I've hunted like even like what Mikey was saying, like the biggest scrape on this scrape line, he killed his biggest buck off of it. Like I've hunted those scrapes. I've hunted them after a fresh rain when it's like scrape week. You know what I mean? And like I've seen bucks and stuff like that, but never the buck that I wanted to kill.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mike, what about you? Like obviously you've killed deer off of scrapes, but have you ever gone on Onyx, started looking around, find your scrapes and go, you know what? That reminds me, there was a scrape here last year. It's going to be a rain day. I want to try something different. The wind's right. I'm going to go in there. Have you ever done that?
Not over a specific scrape.
Okay.
No.
Did you kill your buck over a scrape this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was going to say, you're talking to the wrong guy about killing deer over scrapes because I'm making a habit out of it the past couple of years. But not necessarily a scrape specifically. Now, the big buck that I shot in 2020, that stand was hung over that scrape, but it was in a pinch point. The buck that I killed this year, that was over a vine scrape, a mock scrape that we established probably 5 years ago. That scrape is not the only scrape in that area, but it has been the prominent scrape, I guess, or like that's the scrape in the area. Like it's the biggest scrape. It's always open first. So not necessarily a specific scrape per se, but an area. Like, and if you have to study these, I mean, over time, like certain scrapes set up better than others, obviously, like we've talked about, like, like this, the trail scrape, but that one I shot that 140 over in 2020, that was in the perfect pinch point, just off of a bedding area, tucked right between a food source. Those deer were in there all day long. I killed that buck at 11:30 in the morning, cruising, but he was coming through a pinch point. Yeah, that buck that I shot this year, you can't really tell from the video, but like that scrape, that location is on a hub. There's so many different terrain features and changes right there in a 7,500 yard, like 100-yard section.
So to relate that back to like Onyx though, is that a spot that you found from using your maps and kind of putting all those things in one place?
Yeah. It was honestly, it was a spot that my dad and I wanted to get into for years. Yeah. We hunted the farm, but it's down in a creek bottom. Like, man, it would suck to get one out of there. But we went down there and it was like, wow, what have we been missing? And then there's been a stand in there every year, and then finally it pays off.
Do either of you do kind of that same thing like you're saying? There's a very specific icon that we use, and it is the Bigfoot icon.
Oh yeah.
And it's a group icon where we put Bigfoot icons in areas that, just like you're mentioning, these are spots that we've really, really want to check out. It's just a matter of time before we finally get there. And I know I've talked about this a lot with my trip to Ohio. Like, that was a Bigfoot spot that I finally went to after 4 years. That pin sat there from a blind drop while Austin and I were probably just sitting here doing just this.
One of the years.
It was.
Yeah.
We were doing just this, and we dropped pins along some areas in that spot. And this was one of those spots I finally went to and saw one of the biggest deer I've ever seen out there. So, like, do you guys use a certain icon for you got to get to these places eventually, and then how long does it take you to get to them? Because for me, I'm averaging about 4 years.
I don't, but I definitely have those areas. I mean, those are areas that they're almost ingrained in your head. Like, you need to be there. I don't think I've ever used a certain pin for that, but I do like the idea of the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot pin. That's pretty smart.
We use Bigfoot especially up our camp for the woods, right? And then I use a lot of like the point of interest pins, and I'll color coordinate the color coordinate.
Point of interest look like?
Point of interest is like the asterisk, the one I just used.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The asterisk or whatever it is. That one I'll use a lot, and I'll make a pinned color that stands out for that year. Like when Joe and I were hunting the property when he shot that big 8-point a couple years back, I went into that property, and it's fun guessing and checking because that's all it is when you're dropping those pins in areas you've never been to. But it was funny. He killed that buck that year, maybe 30 yards from where I dropped that point of interest pin, to areas that looked really good in there that we needed to check out. So I do that a lot. I'll be honest. I really do.
That makes sense, man. It's funny because you mentioned the Bigfoot pin and you're averaging 4 years on checking a spot. When I was just digging around on Onyx, I was looking for the access pins to show you like an example. I saw a spot on there that I've wanted to look at forever, that I have marked, completely forgot about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that pin itself because my Onyx looks like a psychopath that's been playing with it. And like, that's a spot that like, now's the time of the year. I should probably go shed hunt it and scout it right now. And
yeah,
like I need to go through my whole thing and just see like these areas that I've never been to that I've always wanted to go check out. And like,
I think we lost them again.
Oh yeah, we did.
That one might be.
That one's not us. We're still connected.
Yeah, we're still connected.
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the same way as you. Like I'll totally forget about them. There's sometimes I'll get bored at home and I'll just jump on Onyx and roll.
Yeah.
And see where these pins are that I dropped and try to remind myself like, hey, why did I drop that pin there? What the heck was that for? You know, and it goes back to like, if you use your notes, you're going to remind yourself in 4 years why you dropped the pin there.
Yeah, honestly, that pin that I'm talking about right now is probably from a night I was laying in bed, bored, playing on Onyx, and just saw this spot and was like, I should check that spot out.
Yeah.
And then never thought about it again. I should look and see when I dropped that pin, because I'll guarantee it's from years and years ago.
There's definitely a date stamp to it.
So crazy.
I use it a lot in new areas. Like I'll show you very specific example. We are going on a turkey hunt in Virginia this year. And Joe Marcello and I, Madman Joe Marcello. And I found just scrolling through, these are all pins that I dropped. Actually, I don't think that it'd be over here. Duh. These are all pins that I dropped just guessing. Like, there's the point of interest one. Point of interest. I'm interested in that spot. But like, I'm literally guessing roost spots. I'm guessing different areas that I want to hunt.
Yeah.
In these properties. I'm also putting pins of the property that we have permission on. And this is our camp right here. We're camping up there.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to hunt. So I do that a lot.
Now, interesting question. Still on Onyx, not from a hunting perspective. Do you use pins for fishing, and do you put pins in spots that you've caught really big fish? Like I've done it for like our bass tournament and stuff like that, an area where I lost a tank.
Ooh, I haven't.
And I want to go back and fish that spot again. Maybe not that exact spot, but like that whole area, fish that and try and catch that fish again.
For fishing, yes, I do have some pins on here for fishing, but they're literally usually just like the pond itself.
Okay.
Like those are a couple ponds that we fish with the access points.
Like I've done it for like structure in a pond.
Oh yeah.
That like I've caught fish out of. I've put it in there so I don't forget that like, oh, that was a hot spot.
Yeah, like I have a pheasant one there. I
have a pheasant one for
pheasant.
The pheasant's not going to stay there.
It's not where I've seen pheasants.
Was that a good pheasant bed? It was a pheasant scrape.
That's a parking spot. Okay. Well, the reason I marked that is because I found that this game land was stocked with pheasants that week. So I marked it with a pheasant pin. And I wanted to go to that parking lot. So I put a pin there and I had to copy it to get the coordinates to get there.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
I suppose.
Welcome back, Mike.
This conversation took a wild turn. Yeah, sorry.
Mike, I saw a squirrel in a spot once.
They don't have.
Yeah.
Listen, there's pins on here that I really want them to have and don't. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but let me see if I can. There's a saddle pin now. That's exciting, by the way. There's Sasquatch. But I can't remember what the pin was that I wish they had. Snake is one.
Is there an alligator?
No, I don't think so. No alligator.
I wish
There's an antelope, a bear. So the animals on Onyx, which is nice. Onyx is out of the bunch. You know, they have antelope, bear, bobcat, buck mule deer, buck whitetail, caribou, a chucker.
Are you gonna read all the pins?
Yeah. Cow elk, coyote. And look, they put a deadhead pin. Dude, that's badass. How long has that been on there?
I don't remember ever seeing one.
Dude,
I don't remember seeing that one.
That is freaking sick. See, look, ducks, dog.
Probably added all kinds of pins
Elk.
that I don't even know
They
about.
got gate pins on here now.
I always use like the same pins is my problem. You know what I mean?
No, I need
Like I use access, I use scrapes.
hogs, fox, geese. Dude, this is
Hey, all
cool.
kinds of stuff on there.
Horseback. When did they add all these? Let's put mountain lions all over.
Let's put mountain
Let's
lions.
just use
I
mountain lions.
I got an off-topic question
Okay, hit me with it.
Raccoon?
because I know Chuck is in full-blown turkey mode and he doesn't want to talk about bows. But
Yeah, I don't.
when does the competition start?
Oh, our shooting competition?
Yeah,
I have to look
you
at
guys
the,
did what? 12 weeks?
Yeah. I basically have to look at the dates of when the early archery seasons start coming in, especially Florida. Because last year what we ran into was the beginning of the tournament competition, whatever you want to call it. It was awesome. Like, it was fire. There was so much participation. It was freaking awesome. And then as their seasons kicked off, they all started to drop off. And we've come to find out that, it's just too difficult. When people have free time during season, they're out hunting. Makes total sense, right? It's tough to shoot. I mean, we had guys like Herb shooting at night.
Dude, he shot in pitch black sometimes.
Like multiple times shooting at night with a spotlight out on his target.
I got to be honest, the dude shot pretty damn good in the dark.
Probably better than the daylight.
Here's a suggestion, maybe, or a question. Like, I know a lot of clubs do like summer leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just run it right through the middle of freaking summer?
Well, because I don't shoot my bow in the summer. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That's
But it
the
will
exact
be.
purpose
So
of this.
that's the point. It will be throughout the summer. And it kind of was last year, too. Like, we started this thing. This thing, it ran 12 weeks, and it probably ended somewhere around mid-September, I would say.
So we started in like June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, we just need to start
I'm looking
it
forward to it.
a little earlier. Or do less weeks. Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to ask a question while you're on here, just because you've asked me a couple times,
Sure.
and I forgot to ask Chuck. Chuck, you coming to shoot the R100 with us? I'm shooting with Mike.
He asked me to. I don't know. That's a month after when I'm supposed to have a baby.
Oh yeah, okay.
I am going to be very much up in the air.
You're probably going to be baby duty.
You have a valid excuse this year.
I'm not, but I don't want to not come. Like,
I know
let's
you
make it.
wanna come.
Let me
Well-
make it very clear. Like, I want to go. I just don't have. I've never had a kid before.
That's a brand. That's a brand. No, you got an excuse. You're off the hook.
I have no idea what it's
No,
going to look
absolutely.
like.
You're
You
off the
definitely
hook.
have an asterisk next to that. But I will say, we have to at least get on the 3D course somewhere this
Oh
year together.
yeah, like I'm planning on. So I'm gonna shoot TAC one day this year. I registered for that. I'm gonna shoot TAC Sunday, June 2nd. And then Camo Cares, I just found out June 22nd.
June 22nd. I have it on
Put
my
that
calendar.
on your calendars. Camo Cares. I will be at Camo Cares for sure, June 22nd.
You gonna shoot camo cares, Mike?
We were going to shoot it last year. I forget what come up, but something come up.
Put it on your calendar
you
now. We're
absolutely-
giving you a lot of forewarning.
Yeah, you need to shoot that one.
June
June 22nd.
22nd.
Yep.
One of you guys text that to me, and
Okay.
I can do that.
I will take care.
You can't register for it yet either, but you just have it on your
No,
calendar.
that's fine. But I mean, I will. Yeah, absolutely.
That one I'll be doing. Outside of those, I don't know. And I honestly didn't even want to do TAC this year, but the same guys we've been going with every single year kind of are like, hey, let's do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do one day. But, I can't do Saturday. I can do Sunday only. So I know some of the River guys will be down there as well. Like they
Nice.
always are. But yeah, it'll be different. I like doing 2 days, but that shoot's just like, I've done it enough and I've done all the courses. If I don't do it, I was like how about this? I was 9 minutes late to registration. I was 1700th in line.
Good gravy, dude.
But I tell you what, TAC has it figured out way better than the Pennsylvania Game Commission, because 1700 in line, now that's not 39,000th like Pennsylvania was, but it took me probably a half an hour, and I was on and through it like, bam. done.
How long did you say? 9 minutes after registration?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 8 seconds for Pennsylvania doe tags, and I was like
60,000th.
39,000th in line or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. So it's not terrible, but then again, how many people in 9 minutes kind of already made their way through the process?
Mhm.
I don't know, but because it was quick,
Yeah.
and I don't know what's left. It goes so fast. That shoots. Again, I don't know if I'll do it next year, but I kind of got talked into it. So
I was just asking. Mike asked me so, and I forgot to ask
Yeah,
you several
R100.
times.
I talked to Mike about it. I'm just on the fence, man. I've been wanting to do that shoot for 3 years. I really have.
Yeah.
Like, I see the advertising for it. It's in Franklin, my old stomping grounds. Like, I want to do it. Don't count me out.
We'll
Mike,
get you out
when's
there, man. We'll get
when's
you
like
out
the
there.
latest I would have to let you know?
I mean, dude, you could literally show up
Really?
Friday when we get there. Like, you can register at the shoot. If you pre-register, it saves you some money. I mean, we normally have two camp like locations right next to each other because usually have a pretty decent group of guys, and we try to get 2 spots right next to each other. We can make like one big camp out of it. We all sit around the same fire. We play cornhole, the whole spiel when we're not shooting. Yeah, dude, you could really just show up freaking Friday and be like, hey, I'm here for the weekend, and nobody would care.
No shit. Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, we make a weekend out of it. We always have. I mean, Dad and I have been shooting it for probably 15 years now. It's something
Nice.
we just enjoy. It's just an awesome weekend. And I mean, we've been all over the place shooting it. We've been out towards Reading for the first, I don't know how many years. We went to New York for a few years. We went to Ohio for a few years. I mean, we've been all over the place shooting this shoot. It's just a great weekend, man. And like, it's set up well. They run it really well. It's not a tournament. I mean, yeah, you're shooting for pins and you keep score, but it's targets you don't shoot, you don't see all the time.
Yeah, they're fun targets. That's the biggest like attraction of the
It's a
R100.
blast.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you guys heard of like the new Mountain Fest archery? What is that one called? Like it was brand new last year, and it was kind of like a different take of a tack. But like I saw it in a podcast, and I follow them. I don't know if it's marked Mountain Fest or Mountain something.
I haven't heard of it.
No.
No.
Mike,
No.
you haven't heard of it either? I should have probably been
Nope.
better prepared then. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. But Mountain Archery Fest. There it is. Look at that. That was really close.
Where's
It's like
that?
Walker, Texas Ranger or Texas Walker Ranger. Which one is it? Nobody knows. But you know what I'm talking about. So it's all over the U.S. There's one in PA, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, PA, and Georgia. Currently.
Interesting.
It's what's MAF? Oh, Mountain Archery Fest. World record course in track action mobility adaptive course
Interesting.
presented by Onyx Hunt. There you go. Look at that, bringing it full circle. This is what I thought was really cool the other day. They showed a video of it,
Whoa.
and it's their tracks of each course, different color coordinated, and they have the X's for every single target.
That's wild.
How freaking cool is that?
That's super cool.
Right? Like, that's super. Oh, I pressed it. But when you look at it, like, the first one I saw that, I was like, first off, what the hell? What kind of psychopath did that?
Yeah.
And then I realized it was them. But yeah, look, 12-foot long alligator. Like, they are new to the game. We should probably look up where they're at, where this shoot is, because I think it would be a lot. And they make it like super fun. So
I like that.
something for you guys, a little bit of homework for you guys to do.
I will check it out.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure.
Oh
But,
man, it's all the way.
Yeah, hey, I mean,
I think it's in Scranton,
Oh, Brooke has a
we definitely got
cottage out there.
to get together.
May 3rd through the 4th.
Oh, I'm screwed.
We're
man.
not gonna make that.
No way.
That is opening weekend of turkey season, boys. We will
Yeah.
not be making
Cross
that
that
shoot.
one off the list.
Hey, thanks for being on there, Mountain Archery Fest.
Oh my goodness gracious.
They also spelled Scranton wrong.
Yeah, we're definitely gotta hit the 3D course together. Hopefully we can find ourselves in the turkey woods together. And I definitely got to make a trip down there to do another one of these in person with you guys, because
Yeah, definitely.
it's always a blast talking to you guys.
Let's do all of those things. And that's a good time to announce that we are having a Patreon exclusive turkey hunt this year.
Yes, sir.
So if you guys are interested in coming turkey hunting with us, you can join our Patreon and join us for camp in West Virginia.
In
The
West Virginia.
Beautiful mountains of West Virginia. We will cover the lodging and I will feed you, but you have to buy your license.
You do have to buy your license, but I will tell you, it is a very affordable license. I think 100% it's like $167 like that.
Yeah.
And that gets you 2 turkey tags. We're going to cover the cost of lodging.
Yeah.
We'll pick you up from the airport, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. We actually have guys that are flying in. We're going to pick them up and drive them over.
Yeah, we should have a pretty solid camp this year.
Dude, it's going to be a freaking blast.
It's going to be bananas.
I just called today and asked the campsite about like the lodging
Yeah.
opportunities, and I think it's going to be freaking awesome. I'll talk to you after this about it.
I'm stoked.
So yeah, I am very, very excited. And that is going to be the weekend of, should we announce that? The dates?
Of course.
Should we? Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be the weekend of April 20th.
I think it's the 19th through the 21st.
I'm going to get it for the 18th just because some people are flying in early.
Okay. The 18th through the 21st,
Through the 21st.
Of April.
We will have lodging in West Virginia at an undisclosed location.
We'll provide some meals too.
Oh, I'll definitely provide
Yeah.
dinners
Yeah.
for everybody. I don't care. I'm going to bring the griddle down and the Blackstone, and I'll bring meals for every night. I don't care.
Taco night last year was fire.
Yeah.
It was
That's
so
gonna
good.
that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
have to happen again.
Oh yeah.
But we can we lost Mike again, by the way, so we're gonna just keep talking through this one and call it wraps because we're a little over an hour anyways. But yeah, dude, I'm more than happy. I'll get with you and we'll talk about some meals if you want to bring some stuff and do some stuff
Planning on it.
because you're a way better cook than I am. But I know how to just throw things onto a griddle and make sure they're cooked to where people don't get sick.
You did a fantastic job last year.
And I half-assed that. So
It was good.
No,
It was
worked out
good.
all right.
Well, let's wrap this bad boy up. We got a couple things
Okay.
to talk about, and yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Until next week.
The distraction is real.
Let's go.